Justin Bieber just broke his silence, and what he said might finally bring down Diddy.
I just want to protect her, you know?
What's happening behind the scenes right now in Hollywood is bigger than just one trial. It's bigger than just one man. A-list celebrities are scrambling. Legal teams are in chaos. And the silence, it's deafening.
I don't want her to lose it.
But behind the silence lies something darker. A network of protection, manipulation, and trauma. And the more we uncover, the uglier it gets.
I expect to see a lot of strange things take place.
So what did Justin really say? And why does it sound like he's not just talking about Diddy, but about the entire industry? Let's break it down.
They can't get it out of their head, the things that they did.
We're now in week 2 of what might be the most explosive celebrity trial of the decade. Sean Diddy Combs is facing intense allegations, spanning decades. But now it's not just about him. Prosecutors dropped a list, an extensive one. A-list names. People like Kanye West, Michael B. Jordan, and even current executives still active in music and entertainment. These aren't just people who attended the same parties. These are people who were reportedly involved, protected Diddy, or at the very least, turned a blind eye. Because this trial, it's not just about Diddy. It's about everyone who helped keep the machine running. It's about an entire ecosystem that allowed abuse to flourish. And now that system is crumbling. Behind the headlines and camera flashes is a quiet panic. Industry insiders are lawyering up. Crisis PR firms are on overtime. And powerful men who once stood tall are shrinking in the shadow of justice. Some of these names have already begun scrubbing their digital footprints, erasing connections, hiding photographs, and distancing themselves in subtle but telling ways. But it may be too late. Screenshots exist. Memories are being jogged. Whistleblowers are stepping forward. This isn't just about what happened. It's about what was allowed to happen again and again. And as the court digs deeper, a pattern is emerging. Institutions that failed, agents who knew, and publicists who silenced. It wasn't just negligence, it was orchestration. For years, Justin Bieber stayed quiet. He was asked, hinted at, even joked about it. But he never really answered. Until now. A statement from Bieber's team confirmed that real harm occurred, that he's still healing, that he stands with other victims. It was brief, carefully worded, but the implications? Huge. He didn't deny the rumors. He didn't defend Diddy. He didn't deflect. He spoke like someone who had seen something and was now choosing to tell just a piece of it. And in doing so, he cracked the wall of silence that has protected predators for decades. For fans who followed Justin's career since the beginning, the moment felt monumental. Not because he revealed everything, but because he acknowledged something. Something too dark for daytime talk shows. Too serious for tabloids. Something real. And since the statement, other former child stars and artists have reached out to express support. Some are hinting at their own stories. The ripple effect has begun. In group chats, DMS, and private circles, the conversation is changing. Whispers are becoming voices, and those voices are gaining volume. As Diddy faces public scrutiny, some of the most powerful names in entertainment are going quiet. But behind the scenes, it's a very different story. Sources claim that even before the trial, Diddy's circle was lobbying powerful political figures, including Donald Trump, for a preemptive pardon. Yes, you heard that right. A pardon. For crimes not yet convicted. And here's the twist. Reports say other celebrities were part of those efforts. Not to protect the truth. Not to support victims. But to keep everything quiet. Because in Hollywood, silence is currency. And breaking it costs everything. The industry doesn't just protect predators, it promotes them, empowers them, turns them into icons. And when they fall, the industry scrambles. Not to fix the system, but to cover its tracks. Entire departments within talent agencies and studios exist to manage scandals, suppress stories, and spin narratives. Victims are offered NDAs, accusers are discredited, journalists are pressured. The goal? Preservation of the brand, protection of the legacy, profit over people. And for every celebrity downfall we hear about, there are a dozen more we don't. Hidden in settlements, buried in hush money, silenced by fear. This culture of silence isn't accidental. It's engineered. Let's go back to the beginning. A resurfaced interview shows Diddy bragging, literally bragging, about having custody of a then 15-year-old Justin Bieber for 48 hours. No managers, no security, no parents. Just Diddy and Bieber. For 2 days. In the clip, Diddy talks about how it was a 15-year-old's dream. But the energy? It's off, too familiar. too rehearsed, and too proud. Because why would a grown man, with no professional reason to be involved, want unsupervised access to a teenage pop star? The internet didn't miss it. Fans revisited the footage. Body language experts chimed in. And what once seemed like a strange anecdote now reads like a red flag. Justin in the clip looks uncomfortable. Smiling but stiff. Laughing but guarded. It's a moment frozen in time. And now, re-examined through the lens of justice, it raises more questions than answers. Even more disturbing is the context. That Diddy allegedly repeated this kind of interaction with multiple young artists, many of whom now live with long-term emotional scars. Some victims have quietly hinted at rituals, manipulation, and exploitation disguised as mentorship. What was really happening in those 48 hours? And why has no one answered that question? Diddy wasn't managing Justin. He wasn't producing his music. He wasn't part of the label. So why was he so close? The person who was supposed to be looking out for Justin? Usher. Usher discovered Justin. He mentored him. He claimed to protect him. But it was Usher who reportedly introduced Justin to Diddy, who allegedly handed him off. Was this part of a pattern? Because if you look closer, this isn't the first time Usher has been linked to Diddy's infamous flavor camps. And those camps, they weren't just about music. They were rumored to be playgrounds for the powerful. Places where young talent was brought in under the guise of opportunity, only to be exploited. If that's true, then Usher wasn't just a mentor. He was a gatekeeper. He had access. He had influence. And his decisions may have steered Justin, and possibly others, into harm's way. Rumors about Diddy's so-called flavor camps have swirled for years. These were exclusive gatherings, often disguised as talent retreats or mentorship programs. But insiders describe a darker reality. Places where control was maintained through fear, manipulation, and secrecy. Young artists were isolated from their families, monitored constantly, and groomed to follow unspoken rules. Breaking those rules meant consequences. Emotional, psychological, sometimes worse. Several former attendees have started to come forward anonymously, sharing stories of pressure to stay silent and vague but frightening references to initiations and tests. The camps weren't just about music or career development. They were about control. A way to ensure loyalty and compliance in an industry built on appearances. If this sounds like a conspiracy, it's worth noting how many careers skyrocketed after attending these camps, and how many quietly ended. One of the most chilling aspects of this entire saga is the systematic silencing of victims. From NDAs signed in the shadows to whispered threats thinly veiled as career advice, the industry has perfected the art of suppression. Victims are often left isolated, doubted, or outright disbelieved. This silence isn't just passive, it's actively enforced. Whistleblowers report intimidation tactics. From legal pressure to personal harassment, some victims have chosen to speak out anonymously. But even then, their stories are dismissed or drowned out by waves of counter-narratives. The message is clear: speak up and you risk everything. That's why Justin's break in silence matters so much. Because it's a crack in the wall that has protected predators for decades. The emotional and psychological toll on survivors is immeasurable. Many describe years of therapy, substance struggles, and fractured relationships. The industry's indifference compounds the trauma. When your abuser is a powerful figure, when your truth is buried beneath silence, healing becomes a distant dream. Justin's acknowledgement gives hope, a sign that survivors are not alone, and that change is possible. But healing isn't just personal. It requires systemic reform. With the trial moving forward, eyes remain fixed on the courtroom. But the real story isn't just about one man's fate. It's about dismantling a broken system. Activists and insiders are calling for transparency, accountability, and new safeguards. Some demand independent oversight of talent management. Others push for stronger legal protections for minors in entertainment. The public is starting to listen. Social media movements are gaining traction, and conversations once taboo are now mainstream. But change won't be easy. The industry's power structures are deeply entrenched, and many will fight tooth and nail to maintain the status quo. This story isn't just Hollywood gossip. It's a call to action. Educate yourself on the signs of abuse and manipulation. Support organizations that help survivors, amplify voices that have been silenced, and hold powerful figures accountable, not just in court, but in public opinion. Because silence doesn't protect anyone. Truth does. Justin Bieber's statement was just the beginning. The walls are cracking. Will you listen? Will you act? Because the story isn't over, not by a long shot. Stay tuned, stay informed, and most importantly, stay vocal.